Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thank you for stopping by my channel today. I'm going to continue my pattern paper trend, so get comfy and let's get crafty. Today I am working with the last two pieces of pattern paper in this old pink paisley 6x6 stamp set. It is literally the last two full-size sheets I have. I'm also working with My Favorite Things sentiment stamp, a Honeybee Stamp's Lovely Layers, Simon Says Stamp word die, and a Simon Says Stamp tiny words. First card base is going to be this hot pink. I'm going to go ahead and score that at 5.5 inches to create that top folding card that I love. And my plan was to add a white pattern paper or white cardstock layer, but that's going to change. The pattern paper pieces I am trimming down to 3 3/4 inches wide by 5 inches tall. And then I'm going to trade trimmers here because I'm more comfortable with this and cut them in 4 diagonal pieces. In hindsight, it would have been really wise to flip these papers over and use a ruler and draw an X through the middle on the back and then just line that up instead of trying to line up the pattern and then cut it. I mean, things are learned. Every time I make a card, I learn something better that I could have, should have, would have done. But anyway, we're using 2 different pieces of pattern paper, which means ultimately we're going to have 4 triangles or 8 triangles, which means we can make 2 cards, which was not on my plan today, but why not? So I traded out that white cardstock for a piece of gray cardstock, and I'm going to take 2 of each of the triangles and adhere them to that gray cardstock, leaving a little bit of a margin. So we're still working with that idea of fracturing the pattern paper, right? I am using my double-sided adhesive, my ATG, but I am not sticking it down. Like, I'm not pushing anything down so that I can line up all of those points and corners because I am uncertain how much of that is going to show, and I want it to be as neatly aligned as possible. So once I have that 4th triangle down, I'm happy with it. I can go ahead and rub that adhesive down and burnish that, put some more adhesive on the back, and add this to my card base. I am finding my card stash is getting quite full rather quickly making these pattern paper cards, and it's kind of taking me back to my beginnings. Second card, I've pulled out a dark green cardstock for my card base just because it's green and I love it, and there's green in the pattern paper, and if I can find a reason to use green, I will use green all day long and twice on Sunday. I'm going to do the same thing with the gray cardstock, though. I did use that same color gray, and we're going to go ahead, and this will be a reverse image. This card would look really dramatic if you had a really bold print and then a print that was almost read like a solid color. Like, you know, if you have a double-sided pattern paper, if you just cut that into 4 pieces and then flip 2 of them over. That would be a very dramatic look. I am attempting to use all of my pattern paper here, so I'm using what's left in this pattern paper stash. We're going to go ahead and adhere that down to our card base, and now it's time for focal points. So for the pink card, I have decided to use the Honeybee Stamp's Lovely Layers Hummingbird die set. And I have off camera gone ahead and die cut all those pieces out. I contemplated not assembling it on camera, but I decided I would go ahead and just speed through it Zoom style. I have pulled out a couple of warm gray Copic markers to add some shadows under the layering pieces, just to kind of give it that little extra depth. We're not going for any dramatic dimension here, but shadows are always a very positive thing. I decided to go ahead, even though the eye, according to the layering guide, is like one of the last steps. I'm like, I'm putting this down now before I lose it. I could have put a gem or something on it as well, which would be super cute if you've got little black pearls or something like that. I'm still adding the shadow. I've got 3 colors of warm gray, depending on which color of cardstock the shadow needs to be added onto. That one I kind of bled out or faded out too far, so I added a little bit more. Honeybee Stamp's lovely layering dies are so phenomenal. The layering guides make everything super easy. I have a number of them in my sets or in my collection, and hummingbirds are like, well, hummingbirds are my mom's favorite. And I think that because they're my mom's favorite, they're my favorite too. I don't know. I find them fascinating. But would I have acknowledged that if my mom didn't love hummingbirds? I don't know. So thanks, Mom. All right, we have our hummingbird all assembled. We're going to go ahead and pop it on the front of this card. And I decided to go with an action wobbler because hummingbirds are like fierce fast, right? They fly fast, fast, fast. They don't ever stop, really. And I thought that would be the perfect time to use an action wobbler. Plus, I haven't used an action wobbler in a long time. So these are little plastic springs. The ones I have are the small version that I purchased from Simon Says Stamp. And there's adhesive already on them. And you put one part on the back of your die cut and the other part on the front of your card. And check this out. They just bounce. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? I love it. I do this mostly for kids' cards, but I couldn't resist with hummingbird. Okay, sentiment. I'm going to pull out this My Favorite Things, Essential Friendship Messages. And I'm just going to stamp the one that says, the world is better with you in it. Or my life is better with you in it. What does it say? It says, life's better with you in it. And I'm going to stamp that on a piece of white cardstock with some Versaclara Nocturne Black ink. Because it gives you I've not used this stamp set before, and this Versaclara ink stamps perfect nearly every time first time out the door. I hardly ever have to restamp, even with a brand new stamp set, so I love that. I've gone ahead and trimmed that down. I'm going to layer it on a piece of the pink cardstock that is the same as the card base, just to kind of pull it up off the background a little bit. I'm going to stick it down here right at the bottom. I'm going to do my best to eyeball it straight. And that's card number 1, almost finished. We will add a little bling at the end. I got to play with the action wobbler again because why not? Before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and add that white copy paper to the inside of my card so that I have that fresh, clean place to write and I don't have to use pens that will make a mess. For the second card, I'm going to use the Simon Says Stamp word die. I'm using the one that says hugs. And then in their tiny word stamp set, there's a little stamp that says happy birthday. I'm going to use just the birthday part, and I'm going to have it say birthday hugs. So I have cut the hugs out of a dark green, same as the card base, and I decided I needed to mount it on something else other than just the card base. Now, I could have put a shape or a die cut or something in the middle there. Probably would have made a little bit more sense. I just decided to go ahead and fussy cut around this. I layered it on a piece of that gray cardstock. I'm just going to fussy cut around it. Totally fine. It works. But I could have put like another triangle or a banner shape or something in the middle as well. For the little tiny word stamp, and it is tiny, I am going to ink up just the birthday. So this is one stamp that says happy birthday. I'm going to put it on the lid of my Misty. I'm going to get a piece of Post-it tape and cover up the happy part. I am going to pre-treat my cardstock, my black cardstock, with anti-static powder tool. And then I will ink up the birthday word in white pigment ink. This is a Concord 9th ink cube because it was the first white one in my drawer. I'm going to peel off that Post-it paper. And I'll have to do this twice. I didn't get a great stamped impression the first time. That's okay. No big deal. Put the tape back over the happy part. Ink up the birthday word and remove that tape. Always remove the tape or you'll have a mess. Always remove the tape. And then I'm ready for some white embossing powder. I could have done this on that dark green paper too. That would have looked really nice. I just went with the white on black. I'm going to go ahead and heat set that embossing powder. It does not take very long at all because it is such a tiny amount. And then I will go ahead and when it is dry, rub my fingers, burnish all that powder off, and trim it down off camera because nobody wants to see that in real life. It took me, it's little. It was a minute. I'm going to go ahead and put the hugs right in the middle of our triangles and center that birthday right on top of it. White piece of cardstock pattern paper, copy paper. There we go. White piece of copy paper on the inside of my card, just because that's how I roll. And now I'm going to add some bling. I have in my new bling stash the Rainbow Splash, the Splash Drops. This is a new line from Simon Says Stamp. And this particular card has some that look pearlescent, that look clear, and that read a little silver. So on the green base cardstock, I'm going to use the ones that look a little bit more clear. And I'm putting 3 drops in the top left of the hugs and 2 drops in the bottom right. And on the hummingbird card, I'm going to use the ones that look a little bit more silver. It's really hard to tell the difference on video. And in fact, in real life, it's only marginally noticeable. But I'll put 3 on the top right and 2 on the bottom left. And then the cards are done. So I have these fabulous cards that I was able to create with 2 pieces of pattern paper, technically a little bit of cardstock. But yeah, pattern paper piecing is bringing back all the old, my first gen card vibes before I got into coloring and die cutting and all that stuff. And let's be honest, my channel is Designs with Paper because I love the pattern paper. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you like this video. I have a couple of other videos here I think you will like as well. I've also added that subscribe button. Please subscribe if you have not. I would love it if you did. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what your first card technique was. Have a really fabulous day.